I am not kidding. My favorite part of the week is those few minutes with Pete. That is awesome. That is so fun. He's so kind to have me in and chat up a little bit. We learned about his workout routine. That was good. You always get too much information on me. I feel like Pete's well, I won't say he's a little more private. He likes to talk about his family and those things, but I don't mean to expose him. But Pete's still like that guy that can wear these tight shirts and stuff, and he looks great. His arms are good. He's fit. The guy's something else, man. So I've loved my time with Pete, and thank you for listening to Uncanceled. Great to have you here today on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. Coming up in 30 minutes, a local sports radio host fat shames on X Travis Kelce. It's true. There's a bigger story than that, though. We'll dive into that in 30 minutes. Also, a little bit later, we'll talk about Mike Keogh's in town today, the governor in Clay County, and what that means after Mayor Q told Pete Mundo yesterday this is about the Chiefs and not the Royals. We'll dive into that. And, of course, Mark will be with us. We will have some fun with him and maybe talk a little, just briefly, there's something really unique Sunday night. The baseball draft has changed. It's not like the NFL draft, but it's changed. The Royals are in a very unique position on Sunday night. Maybe we'll get into that as they're playing Pete Mundo's childhood team, the Mets, at Kauffman Stadium all weekend long. Sunday is the one-year anniversary of the creep from Pennsylvania who shot Trump in the ear after a nearly complete breakdown by security forces led by the Secret Service around that farm field in Butler, Pennsylvania. It was an historic day that in no small part led to Donald Trump being president of the United States. I think America had decided before this. I think they knew Joe Biden was not it, and when he would then pull out and Kamala Harris would be in the race, that she's not it. I think Trump was winning either way. But when you go back historically and look at the series of events and the historic things that happened in 2024 in the presidential election, from a mindless sitting president who had an auto pen being president of the United States for him, that bumbled his way through a debate, and an opponent that got shot and bloodied and went to the hospital and survived after said party with crazy man leading the country that doesn't know where he is, jailing the opponent, getting mugshot videos of Donald Trump in Fulton County, civil suits in New York, raiding Mar-a-Lago. We've lived through, and I hope this country has learned. Well, not country. I hope the country. I do mean country. I think the Democrat Party has learned that what they did was wrong. It doesn't mean they won't do it again. But the voters learned that this is not who and what we are. This is not how this works. Stoking and promoting violence against your opponent or putting them in jail or calling them Hitler and all these other things, Americans reject that. They don't want that. You have to do some of it in politics. You can't play nice in politics. Barack Obama won twice because the Republicans were too nice. John McCain wouldn't say one negative thing, really, about Barack Obama. Mitt Romney came along. They just hammered on this guy, and he wouldn't say anything. They wouldn't call Obama out for the fallacies in the things that he was saying that he would do and then not do, and the way he was splitting America apart. You couldn't do it. They felt like we can't touch him. We can't say anything bad about the black guy, is the way Republicans thought at the time. Well, Trump brought that fence down. But on this historic day, a year ago, Sunday's the anniversary, Trump is on stage and remarkably turns his head toward a video monitor at the exact same time the trigger is pulled by Thomas Crooks. And instead of a bullet going through the ear hole of Donald Trump, and not to be too graphic, but basically exploding his head, these were large bullets, he turned his head and it clipped his ear. So I'm going to ask the question today, where were you? What did you think? And I'm going to share a story of where I was and what happened when I heard this. Me and Jessica and a couple of friends were at Iowa Speedway. My friend had a college roommate who's the president of Iowa Speedway, and he said, why don't you come up to the Indy races and be our guest? Awesome. We've got VIP passes. We have concerts before and after the race. Luke Combs is a huge country superstar. He was set to come on the stage around 4:30 or 5 o'clock, the pre-race show. Then there's an Indy race, and after the race was Eric Church. We were given pit passes down around the stage. The stage is on the infield where the driver's cars are, the grass. So most people are in the grandstands across the track watching this concert. But for, I'd say, maybe 200 of us, we were right down there on the infield grass around Luke Combs, who has come out and started his set. We're literally 3 people deep behind the little fence behind the stage, so I'm 15 feet from Luke Combs. When we get the first word from somebody to our right, Trump's been shot. And we're dancing and we're singing and we're having a nice day. And we're like, what? Trump's been shot. Everybody looks at their phone simultaneously, which means nobody's phones worked. Iowa Speedway is not in Des Moines. It's outside Des Moines quite a ways. Their cell service is not great, and their Wi-Fi in that particular spot was either overcrowded with people all at the same time or whatever. We were getting some word from people around us. My phone wasn't working. Nobody in our group was seeing anything that Trump had been shot. I think it was at 5:11 p.m. Does that sound about right? 5:11 p.m. Iowa time. And I'm looking up at the stage, and Luke Combs is still singing and playing, and he's looking around, and he looks off stage, and he's given the shoulder shrug. I look across at everybody in this pit. These are the people he can see. You can't really make eye contact with the people in the grandstands if you're Luke Combs. But everybody down below, you can make eye contact with. You're doing a concert for these people right up front. Nobody's looking at him. Not one person. Everybody is fumbling with their phone. They're trying to, every single person now is staring at their phone while he is rocking it out, giving it his best, and he doesn't know what's going on. And he's looking around, and he turns and he looks at his band members. They don't know. They keep playing nothing. I mean, he's got no eye contact, nothing. He finishes the song maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes later, and one of his stagehands comes off from behind the side stage and comes out and says something in his ear. He leans up, he whispers in his ear away from the microphone between songs, and Luke Combs bobs his head yes like 2 or 3 times and said, he clearly turned to him and said, okay, thanks. And then the guy went off stage, and Luke Combs came back, and they started, and they played another song. Nothing was mentioned. He kept playing. People continued to be on their phones. He finished his set. Everything went on. Everybody around us thought Trump was dead. Not a single person thought he was alive. All anybody knew, word of mouth going through this group of people, was Trump was shot in the ear. Well, who's ever heard of somebody getting shot in the ear and living? When you think shot in the ear, you think shot through the ear from the side. What are the percentage chances a piece of the ear gets clipped and nothing else? This is impossible. We knew he was doing a rally. Everybody knew that day he was in Pennsylvania or whatever. And every single person, and I think Luke Combs in that moment and everybody probably thought he's dead. Now, I don't know what it was like for people at home. I don't know what it was like for people whose phones were working perfectly. I don't know how quickly people knew. If you were watching, you saw Trump get up and taken off stage. Like he was down on the ground, but then they got him up and he did the fight thing. So you were able to see that. But for at least 15 or 20 minutes, we were in the dark until somebody finally said he's okay. He's fine. He got up and the Secret Service got him out of there. And we're like, what? Now we're all asking ourselves, how did he get shot in the ear and he's alive? I will never forget it the rest of my life. It's one of those indelible moments. We all have, I don't know how many, 10 or 20 moments in our life that just stand out like none other. And as news events go, this wasn't watching 9/11 live. You know, I'm watching the TV, watching the airplane fly into the building, the second one. It wasn't that. It wasn't the sheer horror of America's under attack. But I can tell you, as a full-on MAGA Trump guy, who I can honestly tell you I was Trump before anybody was Trump. I was Trump before he ran and was in an airplane hangar with Barack Obama's birth certificate giving him a hard time. I'm like, if that guy ever runs, look out, because he's going to do what I do. He's going to say everything. He's going to say everything. And that's what Trump's become, and that's what America is again. We're a beacon for free speech, and I love that. But at that moment, I thought I'd lost my guy. I'm like, oh my God, now what? Now what? And you know, of course, I'm thinking a little bit about the election, but I'm mostly thinking, geez, in stronger terms than that, this man just gave his life to try to fix this country that's being taken over by socialists and a president that can't form a sentence and a deep state that's running everything. And he's just lost his life over it. He's a billionaire. He's got every possible whim at his disposal if he just wanted to go sit on a beach or play golf every day. He owns his own resorts, for crying out loud. Like, you don't question Trump's commitment to America. This is impossible. We can talk about the great patriots, the heroes, the founders of our country, and all of the brave presidents we've had that served in the military or heroic generals or things like that. Trump is right there. If you're doing a Mount Rushmore of the presidents with the biggest set of cojones willing to risk everything for their country, Donald Trump, well, he may have plenty of equals. There may be several equals, but there's nobody that's risked more or put it out there on the line more than this man. That gets lost every day because he doesn't ever talk about it and nothing slows him down. He doesn't do what Democrats do. He doesn't play a blame game. He doesn't complain about it. He doesn't say this isn't fair. They're coming after me. He says, I'm going to win, and America's going to win. And in the end, I'll let my legacy be what my legacy is, but he knows. He knows what strong leadership is. He knows what commitment to his country is. And when he talks about soldiers and the pilots from Whiteman going on that mission, you know what? Trump is every bit as brave as every single one of them. Anybody that's ever put the uniform on in this country, Donald Trump is every bit as brave as you. He did not serve in the military, but he's every bit as brave. And in that moment, on that day, America saw it. And people said, holy crap, this guy's really serious. Like, he's really serious about America. He's willing to have this. Then we got another attempt on his life after that. Is Donald Trump crazy? Yeah, but not in the crazy way like we see crazy people, like they're unhinged off, whatever. He's not like that kind of crazy. Is he crazy that he probably, for him and his family, shouldn't be putting them through all this? Maybe, but that's how much he loves America. And I know what I felt that day when I thought Donald Trump was dead. And I thought it for a long time. I was convinced for 20 minutes. I was the one turning to Jessica and everybody else. I'm like, oh, he's got to be dead. He got shot in the ear. You don't survive getting shot in the ear. Doesn't happen. And yet it did. Where were you? What do you remember? Love to hear your story. 913-408-7957. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio.
Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled. 10 to 11 a.m. on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
All right, we're back on Uncanceled. Great to have you with us today. And most of you on the text line are saying you were watching live on television and knew Trump was okay, that he grabbed his ear like a mosquito bit him, and then he went down and they went on top of him and assumed it was okay. Mark, do you remember where you were when this happened 1 year ago?
Yeah, I was watching, I don't remember what I was watching on TV, but Pete texted me, said Trump was shot. And I just immediately go to Twitter and try to see what's going on. And then go to Fox News, and it's just on loop.
Yeah.
Replaying him standing up and going, fight, fight, fight.
Okay, and so on Twitter at that point, was there like a live feed? Was there the television live feeds? Were you able to watch live what was going on?
Yeah, you could watch live.
So you could have seen it like literally, I don't know how long he was on the ground. It couldn't have been much more than a minute or two, right?
It wasn't even a minute.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed probably longer to him at the time, but it was only like 20 seconds maybe, and then they rushed him off the stage.
Okay. So we really have a unique story in the fact that we couldn't get any information. It was a very, very strange feeling, I'm telling you, to be locked out. And part of that is our culture today. We're all so plugged in. And I used to think with social media and the internet and all these things that this was bad for conservatives in America because I don't know. I just had it in my head that this is just a bunch of kids on TikTok watching silly videos. And it's not good for our culture. But what I've learned is it only takes one or two things on your phone. If you're young, let's say you're 16, that you're inquisitive about something like Trump shot or whatever, that now things get into your algorithm that are in your phone and you start following things that are a little more political or more informational. I think it's fantastic. I think the more information American voters have, the better that is for America. I have always thought that. I think the Democrat Party is filled with either people that are one-issue voters. There's a lot of them are one-issue voter. One thing, if you're transgender, you're going to vote for them. That's my party. I'm voting for them. I don't care about anything else. They're one-issue voters, or they're just, not low IQ, low information voters. And I think that as bad sometimes as the internet and social media can be, I think it's a benefit. I think it's a benefit for our elections and our country that there's just more information out there for everybody. Let's exchange those ideas and let more and more young people, as they grow up and get into this, see that there are two sides to something and which one makes sense to you. That's how you can explain the polling that we have on illegal immigrants and deporting them. About 57% of America say get rid of everybody. And then, as Pete was talking about a little bit earlier today on some of these other polls that are out there, like global warming, climate change. Nobody cares. Like it's 60-40, nobody cares. They've been beating this drum for 30 years and it hasn't moved the needle a lick because now people are getting more and more information and they're seeing it. I think that's a pretty cool thing. All right, coming up later today, Mike Kehoe will be in Kansas City. He'll be in North Kansas City in Clay County. The governor of Missouri will be here to help sign the bill and create the Clay County Sports Authority, which is a cool thing. It clears the path to have a governing body and a board to set up an election in November for a half-cent sales tax for the Royals to move to North Kansas City on 100 acres of land that's sitting there right across the river, basically from downtown. I don't think Mike Kehoe's coming here for anything that is not specifically designed to keep a team in a stadium in Missouri. Mayor Quentin Lucas was on with Pete Mundo yesterday and said he thought that the governor was coming because, as he's heard, the Chiefs are considering building their corporate offices and practice fields north of the river. This doesn't really sound plausible to me. Almost everyone within the organization lives south of I-435 at its southernmost point, let's say at state line. Driving through downtown every day to go to work, through downtown, not into downtown, through downtown and around and across the bridges, across the river, doesn't sound anything Chiefs-like to me. Now, if you're telling me the Chiefs are eyeing a spot there to build a new stadium, I'll listen to that all day. A stadium on game day is a destination. Everybody in this city, no matter where the stadium is, if they want to go to a Chiefs game, is going to go. It doesn't matter where it is. And if that's the spot the Chiefs are looking at because they can build around it what they want to have, like the Star in Texas. Big 12 Media Days were just at the Star. That's what Jerry Jones calls their training facility, which is several miles away from the stadium the Cowboys play in. But it's It's fields for kids. It's interactive. It's a Hall of Fame. There's shops, restaurants. It's very popular. It makes a lot of money for the Cowboys, and it's their team headquarters and facility. It's also a tourism destination. People just go there to see the star. That's what the Chiefs want to do. They want to build something that people want to come see and do field trips with the school kids and all of these different things. That's what they want to do. Maybe that's North Kansas City. But all deference to Mayor Q, I don't think it's a corporate office and a couple of practice fields for the Chiefs, and that's it. It would be a stadium, and why wouldn't you put them in the same spot? So you're going to ask Patrick Mahomes, who lives at Loch Lloyd, to drive on no particularly good highway to get to 435 and then what? Take 49 through the hood and around, through downtown and the roads there, which would be just to the east of T-Mobile Center, across the bridge, and then drive into North Kansas City to find his place to go to work every day. I'm not joking. You're going to ask Patrick Mahomes to sell his house now or what? I'm not joking. These things matter. When teams are looking at you, don't think Patrick Mahomes matters to this franchise? You didn't see the reaction to what I said this week. I mean, it does. They're sensitive to it. The last thing the Chiefs can afford to do is tick off Patrick Mahomes. They don't want to do it. I don't even understand why your practice facilities would be there. This is about the Royals and Governor Kehoe. And I think I would love it if when they do this today, they put some information out, some that they shared with myself and Pete about 10 days ago. I would love if they share some of this information about what they want to do with the Kansas City Royals in North Kansas City. I'm not sure why they'd keep it public. If they're starting a sports commission and they've got the governor there, it seems like a great day to me. When they bust out those plans and you see what they have in mind, I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like it a lot and say, wow, I could support that and get behind the Royals in North Kansas City. Furthermore, I think the voters of Clay County would say, this would be really cool for Clay County. All right, this is Uncanceled. We come back. A sports radio host fat shames Travis Kelce.
It's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Well, there's a sports radio host that's actually on the air, I think, right now on 8:10 a.m., Jason Anderson, who I've known for 15 years, maybe 20. And I want to preface all these comments by telling you that Jason Anderson is the finest man among us. He is an outstanding father, husband. He doesn't succumb to some of the vices a lot of us do. He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. Like this is just a really solid dude. If you switched over and listened to his show, the only difficult thing is there's about 9 voices on there. So figuring out which one is his, you got to know it. That station just become like all morning shows. It's like there's 5 people on the air at once. I don't know who's who anymore. It's very strange, but I digress. He's just a great dude, and he really knows sports, and he's a fine talent. And yes, we compete against each other in the 10 o'clock hour now. Whatever. That's not the point of this. He's in Lake Tahoe at the American Century Championship, near as I can tell, because he posted a picture from there yesterday. I haven't listened to his show, so I don't know that he's in Lake Tahoe. But for about maybe 10 or 12 years, I went every year for that station with American Century, which is a local company here. They sponsored it. They took us out there. We would do the shows on the driving range and interview all these celebrities that are out there to play golf. It was a fun trip. It was a hard trip because there was work after work. Like you had to go to all these different events and all this stuff. They were long days, but it was great. We actually, Trump was there one year. I played blackjack one time with Mark Cuban. I mean, I got a lot of great stories from that trip, and it's cool. But he posted something last night that Mark pointed out to me, and it was a great post on X. And I don't have it in front of me. There were 2 pictures. One was Travis Kelce yesterday at an event, a corporate thing where he's schmoozing people for garage beer, which is his beer, right? And he has a golf shirt on that says garage beer on it. And it was on his torso like saran wrap. Like literally, like just as tight as it could possibly be. And he is ripped. He looks great. So Jason Anderson, I think, took the picture maybe, and he posted that up there. And then he took a picture of what he shot Travis Kelce in last year.
Yeah.
And he had a big, baggy golf shirt on. He looked exceedingly exhausted and tired, like he'd maybe been up all night or, whatever. He just looked terrible. He clearly had a gut because the shirt was so baggy, he didn't want people to see it. He just looked awful. That was 1 year ago.
His face was thicker, too.
Face was thicker. Side by side, how many pounds you thinking? Last year at the same event versus this year, Mark? 25?
Yeah, 25 pounds, yeah.
At least.
Mm-hmm.
He's handing out garage beers, talking about garage beers, and people are talking to him about it, and he says, well, I haven't had any of these this summer. I've been running up and down the coastline getting in shape. Because he promised he was going to do that. And he's done that. Now, here's the only issue I have. This is not on Jason Anderson, but this is typical of the media. This is not picking on Jason in any way, really. But it's typical of the media. I've come under a lot of fire this week for pointing out that Patrick Mahomes is not in shape yet, that he's not ready for camp. He'll lose the weight at camp. He's going to be fine by opening day, but he didn't do in the offseason clearly what Travis Kelce has done. Travis Kelce's 4 or 5 years older, right? You get to a point in your career where you have to do it. Kelce learned that last year. His year was not the year he wanted it to be. We watched him play. We all thought he was slow. Everybody watched it. He's slow. Travis Kelce's getting older. He's slow. It's just age. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's the extra poundage. Maybe he was going wild with Taylor Swift that first year and just everything got out of control. And now it's more stable. I think Taylor Swift is probably a very fit person. I think she probably eats right and all these things. I think they've probably settled into something really cool. And I'll be darned if he doesn't look like he's 26 years old. You can't put into words. And I'm the guy saying, wait, I got to see it on the field. He still may have lost a step or a half step. He may not be as fast as he once was, but it's not from lack of trying. You're getting the best Travis Kelce this year. He has spent the last 6 months getting ready for training camp. He's ready to go. And in this post, you could see it. My commentary is on how stark that was. And I will ask you the question. If I had that photograph last year and pointed that out that Kelce looks like a slob and he's not ready to go and he has been completely unserious this offseason, flying around watching Taylor's concerts and eating and drinking the finest food and champagne and whatever in the world, if I made that comment, I'm the bad guy. But a year later, after not his best year, and everybody saw how he played, a year later, you can post it and go, look at this fat son of a bitch from last year. You can do that and get away with it. That's okay. Ask yourself what you want people in the media to do. Because I'm the guy that took all the heat this week, and I'm not complaining. I've done this before. It's okay. I own it. I would rather tell you before the season that Patrick Mahomes was not very serious this offseason than next year this time when he looks way better on a yacht with his wife 4th of July weekend. Do you see the difference? So you have a choice in media, whether it's news or sports, doesn't matter. You have a choice. You had a choice in a vote for president. You can vote for and you can watch, listen to, support people that tell you the truth, even when it's hard and you don't want to hear it because it's about your favorite football player. Or you can support and listen to people that tell you what you want to hear. Chiefs are great. Look, everybody in this town was gushing over Kelce last year. I could find every single sports guy on the air in this town at some point last year said, Travis Kelce looks great this year in camp. Every one of them. Oh, my God, he's moving like he was 26. Every single one of them at some point said that, and they were lying to you because they don't know whether he looks great or not, running around in shorts and a shell or a T-shirt. They don't know. You don't know until the game. Then we watch the games and we're like, whoa, he's big and he's slow. We all saw it. That was easy for all of us. They all lie to you. You have real media in this country that tell it to you the way it is, and you have cheerleaders. And there's nothing else. Pete and I think, I don't want to speak for him, but I've heard him say it many times. Oh, I'm going to say something really upsets many of you, and it will upset many of you. To say something critical of Trump or the administration or conservatism or something like that. There's a lot of things. I've done the Epstein thing this week. I'm like, I've said it a million times. I don't care. I don't care. I don't understand this absolute obsession with Jeffrey Epstein and what happened. Those people aren't going to jail. Get off of it. It's not going to happen. I'm much more interested in the auto pen. You know, did the doctor cover up for Biden? Things like that. That's our government, for crying out loud. That's oversight that really matters. So that's me. That may be different than you, and you may not like it when you hear me say, I really don't care about the Epstein stuff. I don't care. I don't. So that probably angers a lot of you. But I'm being truthful with you, and I'm telling you the truth about all this stuff. And these sports reporters, I feel bad for them. They're stuck in jobs where they're afraid to get fired. The teams have control over the sports radio stations and all the opinion in this town. They control them. They control access. And trust me, for 90% of the sports reporters in this town, access to the games is everything. They just want to be able to go to the game and cover the team and be there and take selfies and do all this other stuff. That's all everybody, this generation of reporters wants to do. They're never looking for, is this as good as it can be? They're not inquisitive. They may ask questions like, well, is his knee better? Okay, well, that's a legitimate question. That's fine, but that's pretty run of the mill. When you start asking big questions like, is the greatest talent in the league Patrick Mahomes? Is the greatest talent also the most prepared player right now? That's a legitimate question. As I told Pete, 99 things out of 100 about Patrick Mahomes is on a scale of 1 to 10 is 10. Great father, great husband, great person, no trouble, no controversies, all these things. He's fantastic. He's the greatest of his generation, all that. But as he's chasing Tom Brady and 7 Super Bowl titles, Mahomes has 3, as he's chasing that, it seems obvious to a guy who's been covering the Chiefs for 40 years. It seems obvious to me it is going to take a level of commitment that is insane. Tom Brady's level of commitment was insane. It started in his 30s, carried on to in his 40s. Nobody in a million years would have ever guessed Tom Brady would play into his 40s successfully and win a Super Bowl with another team. It's unthinkable, but there is a way to do that. And I love athletes. The best athletes that I admire the most are the ones that have the God-given talent. That's Patrick Mahomes. But then they take that God-given talent and they outwork everyone. And that's really special. And I think he's that guy. And I think he thinks he outworks everyone in strategy, film watching, practice, reinventing plays, leadership, all those things. All those intangibles are unbelievable. They're great. They're probably equal to a lot of the other quarterbacks. But is he working as hard as Jalen Hurts? I don't know. Jalen Hurts, Chiefs played him in the Super Bowl twice. If he doesn't have that fumble in the Nick Bolton scoop, Jalen Hurts is MVP twice and won 2 Super Bowls. And I'm telling you what, that guy's in the gym. And he's on the beach running. And I don't like his politics, but Jalen Hurts, you're not outworking that guy. You're just not going to do it. So that was really the point point of my commentary, and it just kind of made me pause for a second when I saw Jason Anderson's post that, a year later, after Kelce looked slow and fat, it's okay to post him looking slow and fat at a golf tournament, like a slob, and contrast it with how good he looks this year. You see, you're a hero now because the Chiefs fans love Jason Anderson because he posted a picture that shows Travis Kelce's the best. He worked so hard this offseason, he's ready to go. Folks, that's the baseline of being a pro athlete. This is not something that should ever come up. When you get paid millions of dollars to play a sport, you shouldn't ever have to tell anybody, take care of your body a little bit in the offseason. I'm not saying you can't have steak dinners, a couple of beers, do whatever. Don't go gain 25 pounds and do nothing for 5 months. It's a low bar. It's a very low bar to ask. Now, look, Mahomes, I'll be honest with you, he probably doesn't look as bad now as Kelce did last year before the start of the season. Kelce looked awful. You go back and look at those photos, you're like, oh my God, how did he not fall over in camp? It's a crazy situation, but I choose on my threads, my feed, the things that I watch, I choose to find truth tellers. People that'll tell me, make me uncomfortable sometimes and tell me things that I don't really want to hear or don't really like, but I know it's the truth or it's reporting. I like the facts. I think those things matter. I think context matters. And I just thought that was really interesting. I thought it was a great post. And I think Jason's a great, great guy. It was a fantastic post. I'm not criticizing him for his post, but I don't remember him saying last year, wow, I got this picture of Kelce, and boy, is he a fat, out of shape. Boy, he's got 5 days until training camp, and he ain't ready. I don't remember that. Because most people on radio or most people in media don't want to say that because they don't want to endure what I've endured this week, which really isn't much for me. But for a different generation, it's the end of the world. They think Twitter's everything. They're like, oh, my God. Pete Mundo mentioned this Nick Wright guy. I'm like, okay, Nick Wright. Yes, he was a host of one of the 21 different shows that I was up against over 23 years. I can't tell you what years he was on the air. I don't think I ever referenced him ever on the air. And apparently he's still so upset with his experience competing against our station where he was. And it was probably a losing hand for them over there. I don't know that it just continues today. And it's just wild. But no, I don't. It doesn't. No. People will email me and say, what do you think about this? I really don't care. So I think that's missing maybe with some people. And maybe that's come over time with me. I don't know. But it is true. It's honest. It did not bother me. None of this stuff this week bothered me. What everybody says, I don't care anymore. The people around me, my family, those that know me, love me. I think they, generally speaking, think I'm a good person. I'm flawed like everybody else. We're all flawed. But I'm not some evil person that you should hate. That's real easy to do on X. But everybody that comes up to me in public is nice. That's all I know. Nobody says anything to me ever that they would post. It doesn't happen. It doesn't really exist. And that's why I have great faith, not only in Chiefs fans and Kansas Cityans, but the human race in general. Most people are good and want to be nice to one another. My job is to tell you what's going on and what is the truth and how things are. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We'll apologize. I'm not talking about facts, okay? This wasn't a fact thing. I don't have his exact weight and what it was last year. I can't do that. I can just tell you what I'm seeing and give you my opinion. And I can tell you this with 99.9 degree certainty. Travis Kelce has worked harder this offseason than Patrick Mahomes. I'll stand by that. That's just my mic drop moment. There is no question from that picture that I saw in that golf shirt that was like saran wrap around his torso. Travis Kelce has worked harder this offseason, maybe, than anybody else on the team. We come back, our Minutes with Mark, next on Uncanceled. Sometimes you just need a friend in this world, and sometimes it's a personal reason or whatever it may be, a shoulder to lean on. Sometimes it might be a big decision in your life where you've got to move and you need to move quickly, and you don't know where to turn when you need to sell your house fast. You don't have time to find a realtor. You don't have time to clean your house up or repair it. You just got to go, and you want the best offer. Well, that's bestofferkc.com. They're absolutely your friends in the real estate business when you need to move quickly. chances are at some point, either in your life or somebody you know in your circle, their life, something's going to happen that they got to go quick. Maybe they inherited a house and it's out of town. They got to do, it's here in Kansas City from somebody else, and you're a neighbor and you say, hey, listen, this happened, call these people. Maybe it's a financial issue or personal matter. Whatever, bestofferkc.com is there for you to help guide you through it. Sometimes they give you such advice that your situation can be handled without Best Offer KC. That's perfect too. Nobody else in the industry does that. These folks are compassionate and caring, and they want to help you through it. 816-338-SOLD. If you need to sell quickly, 816-338-SOLD or bestofferkc.com, helping you leave the hassle behind.
Kevin Kietzman is uncanceled and back on Kansas City Radio. 10 to 11 a.m. on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Time to check in with Mark Van Parlay, producer-engineer of Uncanceled. The Mets are playing the Royals this weekend. It's the last 3 games before the All-Star break, but before the All-Star break is the Major League Baseball draft, which begins Sunday night. We'll get into that. It's the Royals and Mets this weekend, Mark. What do you think, and do you have a play on the board as we speak?
I don't have a play yet. I do think the Royals are going to win 2 out of 3, though.
Okay.
Just the Mets coming off that bad series, the travel coming from Baltimore. I think Royals win tonight, lose tomorrow, win Sunday. That's
Everybody's happy. Pete gets to see the Mets win and the Royals win the series, right?
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be good. So if you played the Royals each of the 3 games, that would be lucrative.
Yeah.
They'll probably be getting odds. Will the Royals be underdogs each game?
I think they're plus 136 tonight.
See? So they're underdogs.
It would be a good start.
They're underdogs. Michael Wacha on the hill tonight. So we would take that. The Mets are really, really good. Then we get the All-Star break. Sunday night is the Major League Baseball draft. This used to be in June. It used to be under the table, nobody or off the radar. Nobody knew it was going on forever and ever and ever. And it's a lot of rounds. It's like 20 rounds. But now they found a Sunday night where there's really no sports on, and they start this thing, and it's all over TV. The first round, this is the first time in 8 years the Royals have not been in the top 10 because they were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice change.
So they're going to pick 23rd, but then they're going to pick 28th right behind that in the first round. Do you know why?
Does it have to do with the competitive balance? Or
No, it is a competitive balance. No, it doesn't.
That's the second round.
That's the second round pick.
Okay, yeah.
So if you have a young player in your system and you accelerate their promotion to the big leagues, because if you don't accelerate it, you can control them longer and not pay them as much money over time or whatever. Players Union didn't like that. They're like, our young stars need to be brought up fast.
Like the waiting till like July 1st or whatever to bring them up, yeah.
Bobby Witt came up in a hurry.
Opening day, yeah.
And then finished second in the MVP last year, and the Royals get the 28th pick in the draft for that.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Free of charge.
And they could probably do that with Jack Caglione in the next couple of years.
They just need him to be good.
Yeah.
So you get the payoff by the player actually being good, because that means that player is going to make maybe tens of millions more dollars in their career if they're good. So that was kind of the point of the whole thing. Caglione could be the exact same thing.
And there's a chance that a guy like Cags might go to a different team to try to make more money. So then the Royals at least get something in return.
Exactly right. So, well, yeah, it's not really a comp thing. It happens right away. If this happens with Caglione and he's really good, next year finishes in the MVP voting or something, the Royals are going to get a pick for bringing him up as fast as they did. So that's awesome. Then they get a pick, the competitive balance pick. There are 3 rounds on Sunday night. These things this is not the NFL draft. They just go, 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 go. Royals officials have said this is going to be a frenzy on Sunday night. The Royals have 5 picks in 3 rounds. That's crazy. They got like 5 of the first 97 picks. They've never had anything like this. This is a bonanza of selections. They're not in the top 10, but it's a bonanza of selections. This is going to be wild for the Royals.
I have to just start doing my research now because I don't know a ton about the high school and college prospects necessarily. I know one kid from KU might get drafted in the first round, but I don't know. We'll see.
Let me help you out. There's a kid in Illinois, a high school pitcher, who's projected maybe 40th. And his name is Jack Bauer. Did you ever watch the show 24?
Mm-hmm.
He's a left-handed pitcher. He is now clocked in by Major League Baseball scouting the fastest pitch ever thrown by a high school prospect at 103 miles an hour.
He should go in the first round. He shouldn't go top 40.
Somebody has got to draft him at number 24.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the TV show 24?
Yeah. So the Royals are 23rd.
Right.
They could throw that off. They could pick him at 23.
Yeah, they could. I think he's projected about 40. There are also 2 sets of twins we believe will be drafted on night 1.
Oh, okay.
There's a pair of twins with the last name of Parker from Mississippi. They're high school kids. And a pair of pitchers in Oklahoma that are named Witherspoon. And they both pitched to you. And they're both all 4, the 2 sets of twins are all expected to be drafted Sunday night.
That's pretty fun.
That's very cool. And we'll finish with this. You know who Livy Dunn is, right?
Yeah. LSU?
Yeah, LSU gymnast and social media influencer. Her and her boyfriend, Paul Skeens, who's a Cy Young winner and probably will be the Cy Young winner this year, attempted to buy an apartment in New York. Did you see what happened?
I did.
It's crazy.
It was Babe Ruth's old apartment, right?
Babe Ruth's old apartment on 8th Street, 88th, 345 West 88th on the 7th floor. She was going on social media all excited to get Babe Ruth's apartment, and they're like, yeah, we're not selling to these people.
Oh, that's rough.
They didn't want the attention.
Yeah.
It's kind of on her. I think their life will be okay. Have a great weekend, everyone. The Vince Show is coming up next.